Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It is 12 o'clock on a Sunday, which means it's time for a Q&A. Now, this is where I take all the questions that you've asked over the course of the week and I try to answer them to the best of my ability. Now, there's a few things that you need to know. First of all, I film these typically on a Tuesday, sometimes a Wednesday. Today is Wednesday morning. If you want to guarantee to get your questions answered, get the questions in by Monday at the latest, because sometimes I do film them earlier. If I haven't answered your question, I'm really sorry. It's either come in late or it's an oversight. If that happens, ask it down below and I will get back to it the following week, I promise. Also, you're getting my raw, unfiltered opinions on these subjects. It's not like I've read these beforehand. I haven't. I'm just loading up the comments from last week's Q&A and I'm giving you my quick fire responses. If I think there's a question in here that's kind of better suited for a longer video, I will let you know and I will do that as a longer video at some point down the line. Outside of that, I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you very much for every single person that checked out Magic TV. If you watched one video, if you've subscribed, if you've shared, if you've just watched, I really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. There would not be a Magic TV without you watching it, and so thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I will say one more thing, which is by the time you're watching this, the Newmarket Magic Convention will have been and gone. I'm really excited about being there, and if you were there, I hope you had a fantastic time and you enjoyed every single part of it. But with that all being said, we're going to get into it. Let's get into this week's Q&A. Okay, so the first question is from Magicaya6761. Hello, how are you? Who says, question, hello, and as always, thanks for everything. You're more than welcome. Is it safe to submit tricks and ideas to all dealers to see if they're interested in producing them, or should we do something first to protect ourselves in case they steal the ideas? Look, I generally, as a rule, most, if not all of the production companies and the dealers that I've actually dealt with have been very ethical, very honest. You know, I've got a great relationship with the ones that I work with, and I even go to people like Peter Nardi and I'll show Peter a trick that I'm planning on submitting to Penguin, for example, or Murphy's, before Penguin and Murphy's have even seen it. So yeah, 100%. You need a circle of people around you that can help you with this sort of stuff. And you're never going to get anywhere as a creator if you're not reaching out to dealers and building that relationship. So as long as you're going with ethical dealers, I don't think there's an issue there at all. If you want to protect yourself, you can film a video of you doing the trick and upload it to YouTube as an unlisted video. That way you've got an actual time and date of you performing that trick and the time and date of when it was uploaded to YouTube. So that afterwards, if somebody says, oh, I've created this trick and it's identical to yours, you can go, well, you know, this is an unlisted video from 4 years ago. You can see that I was doing this way before. And that's something you can do if you want to. A lot of the time I tend not to bother, but the option's there if you do want to do it. But yeah, generally, to answer your question, it's not really an issue as long as you go with ethical dealers that have a good reputation. Okay, so the next question is from Divishan Magician, who says, do you do the Wayne Dobson snooker ball routine with someone else handing the balls back? I don't do the Wayne Dobson version. I do the version that was put out by Proline Academy, not Proline Academy, oh my gosh, Paul Martin. Paul Martin put out a version of it. I did a review show of it a little while ago, a couple of years ago now. And it's a great version. It's not pool balls, but it's lots and lots of different balls. Like there's a basketball and there's a snooker ball and tennis ball and so on and so forth. And it's an electronic version that Paul Martin put together, which is excellent. It's the best version of that plot that I've ever seen. So that's the kind of the version that I use. In all honesty, I think that's the best version that there is. So yeah. Hopefully that helps. I know of the Wayne Dobson version, but I've never actually performed it. Okay, so the next question is Divishan Magician, who says, can you do a video on the hows and whys and best uses of Diverter stroke Stranger? Diverter probably, Stranger no. I originally bought the Stranger a few years ago at Blackpool, and I used it a couple of times. I used it a few times actually and got a really great response. But I got very confused with the pricing structures and everything that was being put in place with the Stranger, it was like, well, hang on, I've paid for it, but now I've got to pay for it again, and I've got to pay a big lump sum to use it, or I've got to pay a licensing fee, and then I've also got to pay for this, and then there was like a new version that came out with more bells and whistles that I had to pay even more money for, and I'm like, I'm out. I believe that, sometimes I'll subscribe to something and that's absolutely fine. But when it comes to a physical product, I've already spent a lot of money on it. When I'm now being asked continually to spend more money on features I don't particularly even want, that's when I'm kind of out. And I'm not saying the Stranger's not good. I've seen a lot of people that use it. It's great. It's just, it got a bit too confusing and a bit less user-friendly for me to want to keep using it. So I don't use the Stranger. I have got Diverter, but to be honest, I haven't used it that much. If I was going to do a video on the Diverter, I'd probably have to spend some time working it and coming up with routines for it. I can probably give my thoughts on it at some point in the future, but yeah, I don't really do it, to be perfectly honest. And the Stranger, I did that quite a lot, but I haven't done it now for the best part of a couple of years. Okay, so the next question is from Carla, who says, "Hi Craig, will you continue your Hidden Gem series? I've watched them all and found them invaluable." Yes, it is something that I need to bring back. It's not as simple as you'd think it is. I know it's only a 15-20 minute video each time, but I have to do the research into it. I have to think about which routine I'm going to do. I have to think about what I'm going to be saying about it, why I think it's a hidden gem. And honestly, I've been so busy this last year, I've not had time to actually sit down and actually do that. It is something that I am planning on doing. It is something that I am bringing back. The series is not dead. It's just been paused for a while. I would like to think that, by maybe the end of the year, or at the latest, the beginning of next year, the Hidden Gem series will come back. Okay, so the next question again is from Punkala, who says, "Have you considered organizing your tricks into playlists by type? Card trick, coin trick, mentalism, or other?" I'm assuming you mean YouTube, because when you go on the Netrix, where I teach all of my magic and, teach a lot of magic, and there's other instructors on there that teach magic as well, it's all organized by card tricks, packet tricks, coin tricks, gaffed coin trick. There's a lot of categories inside the Netrix that you can click on, and you can actually access the tricks under that category. But on YouTube, we tend not to do that. We do have a lot of playlists, but the playlists are more built around the videos. Like hey, this is a playlist for the Q&A. This is a playlist for the Magic Lives. This is a playlist for the Talk Magics. This is a playlist for the 5x5s. Because honestly, there's so many. I don't want to overwhelm people that find this YouTube channel and they just see hundreds of playlists. And because I don't really do tutorials that often, I think we've got a playlist for tutorials. But because I don't really do tutorials that often, it doesn't need to be categorized by trick type. But if enough people want to see that, I'll make it happen. That's the whole thing about Magic TV, is it exists for you guys, and I put the content on and organize it in the way that I think that you guys want to see it. If at any point I feel like I'm failing with that, if at any point I think that I'm doing something that you guys don't think is any good, then I'll change it around. But I try to keep my finger on the pulse, and as far as I can see, I don't think there's a need for those sort of playlists. But if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. Okay, so the next question was from Devashan Magician, who said, "The advice on the website was useful. Thanks. You're more than welcome. That's what I'm here for. Do you think it's worth investing in linking rings that have a mechanism, meaning you can show it all round, or do you think it's unnecessary?" And that's a great question, man. Look, I've done linking rings for years. I do the ninja rings, or a variation of the ninja rings routine, in close-up, and I have done for years and years and years. And I have a comedy linking rings routine that's always in my show, which is based on the Pop Hayden routine. You can learn it from the Netrix. And I do that in kid shows, family shows, corporate shows. It's a favorite of mine to do. I love the linking rings. And every single time I do the linking rings, I don't have a fancy ring. I don't have a fancy ring that's magnetically locked. I just have a normal key ring. The routines I use, all of my routines use 4 rings. So I have a single ring, I have a key ring, and I have a double linked ring. And that allows me to do everything. And I know people worry about the linking rings, and they're like, hey, it's a worry, isn't it? It's a worry, because what happens if people want to see the ring. Well, if you do it correctly, people never want to see the rings. It feels, if you get the choreography and the routine incorrect, people feel like they've seen every ring anyway, so it's totally not an issue. And that's always been my stance, and to be honest, it's still my stance now. I would not change that at all. I will continue to use a key ring and not use a magnetic locking ring. However, I have seen how impactful using a magnetic locking ring is because of Ryland. So originally, Ryland did the flying linking rings. So Ryland's been doing the flying linking rings for a couple of years. If you don't know what the flying linking rings is, it's basically a ring routine by Victor Volko. It's Ryland's version of the Victor Volko routine, where the rings are linking, but they're linking and floating at the same time. And it's quite a difficult routine to do. It's kind of one of Ryland's signature routines when he was the guest act on the tour with Killian. It was one of the routines that Russ Stevens wanted Ryland to do in the show, which tells you how, anybody who knows Russ Stevens knows that it takes a lot to impress him. So the fact that he wanted Ryland to do that in the show speaks volumes about that trick. And in order to do that routine effectively, you have to have a locking ring, because there's moments where you're spinning 2 rings or 3 rings, and one of them is a key ring, so it has to lock in place in order to be able to do the floating aspect. And honestly, the flying linking rings is one of my favourite routines that I see Ryland do. And I've always watched him do it and go, oh, it's so clean, because take away the floating aspect, it's so clean because you just see these rings. He's showing them at all sides. Just for a frame of reference, by the way, he was at the House of Secrets last week. I got a video of him doing the flying linking ring. So let me just insert that here. I'm going to put the flying linking rings in here just so you can see what I'm talking about, just to give us a frame of reference.
I close my eyes and I can see a world that's waiting up for me, that I call my own. Through the dark, through the door, through where no one's been before, but it feels like home.
Okay, so that was the flying linking rings, and I've always looked at that routine, and because it uses a magnetic locking ring, it's like, oh, it's so clean because you're showing the rings at all times. I'm like, well, maybe I should get a magnetic locking ring for my act. And I'm like, well, no one's ever said anything. And then the problem with the flying linking rings, it uses thread, and there's times where thread is not usable. It can be because you're outside, or it can be because the lighting conditions aren't great, or you're not in control of the lighting yourself. There's a few different factors. I'd say maybe 20% of the time, Ryland can't do that routine, but he does get a lot of people booking him wanting to see the linking rings because it's become kind of a signature trick of his. So after Magic Live, Ryland put together a linking ring routine as part of a longer routine. It's kind of, it uses the Doctor Who music, and it's a work in progress. It's looking really, really good, but he used the TCC linking ring set. So he used the linking rings from TCC. Now, if you don't know the linking rings from TCC, they are amazing. It comes with 2 singles, it comes with a double, it comes with a triple, it comes with the normal key ring, and it comes with a magnetic locking ring. And he put together a routine using the magnetic locking ring, which makes sense because all of his experience with rings is with magnetic locking rings. So he put together a normal linking rings routine. And even though he's only been working this in now for about 2 or 3 weeks in front of live audiences, the reactions are great. People are absolutely loving this routine. It's really, really strong. And honestly, it's one of my favorite things that I'm seeing him do. And I love linking rings, and he's doing it very different to me. I'm doing it a comedic way. He's doing it to music. And there are displays in that routine which are ridiculously fair. Now, it's not like he's rubbing his face in it and he's going, hey, look, there's no hole. But there's certain... You know what? I've got a video of this as well. Let me just show you this routine. This is the new routine he's put together. It's kind of a work in progress, but it's killing. It's killing. So you can see in that there are lots of moments where he's showing the rings. And that's made me realize that there is a place for those magnetic locking rings. So this is a long way to answer your question and say, look, if you're doing, it depends on how you're wanting to do the routine. If you're doing the routine to music like Ryland is, if you're doing a routine purely to music, I think having a locking ring is great because it allows some really strong displays at various different points that can subtly, if anybody in the audience is thinking there's a hole in that ring, they completely get thrown off the trail. If you're wanting to do a floating linking rings routine, then absolutely you want to have a magnetic locking version. But if you're doing a comedic routine like I do, where it's not so much about the rings and it's more about the interaction with the person that you have on stage and the comedy, I don't think it's important. So I personally think it depends on how you want to perform the rings. Are you wanting to do it to music? Are you wanting to do it in a comedic patter way, where you're getting a spectator involved up on stage with you? That will kind of basically dictate the route that you go with this. I'm never going to change from a key ring. It works for me. I'm doing a patter, a comedy act, but now it's down to you. It's up to you to decide. Okay, so the next question is from Sharkception, who says, hey, Shark. Hi, Craig. Viewer of many years, but first time commenting. Well, thank you for commenting. I really appreciate it. I'm a technically advanced coin magician, but I'm always chasing the next best routine. There are so many versions of various routines, and I can't seem to commit to practicing every single version of a routine to fluency. How do you decide which version of a routine is for you and keep practicing it without moving on to the latest and greatest? That's a great question. So there are many versions of various routines. Can't seem to commit to practicing a single version of the routine to fluency. How do you decide which version is for you? The way, and keep practicing without moving on. So that's a great question. And one of the reasons is, as magicians, we're always moving on to the next thing, aren't we? We're always super excited. Oh my God, this new coin thing's come out. I need to go and buy that. It doesn't matter if you're working on 5 different coin routines at the moment. That's the new thing. You've got to get that. It's all shiny and new. Let me get that thing. So I totally understand where you're coming from. From my point of view, because there's 2 parts to this question. And the first part is, how do you decide if a version's for you, and how do you keep practicing it to make it better? And to answer the second question first, how do you keep practicing it? I just really enjoy practicing coin magic. I find it very easy to practice coin magic because it's something that I can just have in my pocket. I can put the coins in my pocket. I can just take them out wherever I am. With a deck of cards, it's a bit weird. You know, if I'm practicing intricate, complicated card sleights, there's certain situations where that would be a bit weird. Any other type of magic, it can be. I remember when I went to a shopping centre many, many years ago with Sarah, and I was walking around the shopping centre, and I was practicing a rope routine at the time, and I had a piece of rope in my pocket, and I was practicing all these rope moves, and she just looked at me and went, will you put that fucking rope away? But with coin magic, you can just have it in your pocket. And I love, when I'm sitting at my desk, when I'm doing anything, when I'm Zooming with people, I've always got coins with me, and I'm always practicing something. If I see a routine I like, I'm just practicing it all of the time. It doesn't necessarily need to be a sit-down practice session. Once you've got the sequence of moves, you can just have the coins in your pocket, and you can just pick them out your pocket and just play and just keep practicing over and over again. That's the best way to keep practicing it and getting it better, by just making it fun, making it enjoyable. I enjoy practicing. I know some people look at practicing as a chore. I don't. I really enjoy practicing. So that's the first thing to say. In terms of how do you know that it's for you, the best way to do that is to perform it in the real world. You'll soon find out if it's for you or not. The amount of tricks that I've learned, and I've said, that is an amazing trick. I am definitely going to do that trick for the rest of my life. And then after working it in for about 2 weeks, I realized it's not for me. I can't get the reactions that I thought I was going to get with it for whatever reason. Maybe it's I'm not able to perform it as well as I thought I would do. Maybe it just doesn't fit with my performing character. Whatever it is. And at that point then I have a choice. Do I keep going, or do I go, well, you know what? This is very, very similar to this, and I already do this, and I do this much better, and the reactions are better. Maybe I should stick for this and then search out something else. That's a decision that you need to make. But honestly, I think that the only way you can make sure something is for you or not for you is by trying it out in front of real people. It doesn't have to be a gig. It can be socially going and performing it for friends and family, as many different friends and family as you can. But get some flight time doing it, and then you'll soon realise if it's for you or not. So hopefully that answers both of the questions, and thank you very much for commenting after all these years. Okay, so the next question is the Amazing Spaghetti. Hello, Amazing Spaghetti, who says, do you have any method for forcing a ping pong ball, bingo or lottery numbers on them, among a bag or a box full of other ping pong balls? I'd rather do it with actual ping pong balls rather than cards with images, etc. I don't want to use a cheesy old school force bag, and the clear force bags aren't big enough, thank you. So a method for forcing a ping pong ball among a bag full or a box full of other ping pong balls. Okay. Two methods spring to mind. Two methods. The first method, and both methods are involving you reaching into the box for the ping pong ball, but I don't think that's a problem. I think that if you had a box and you gave the box to a spectator and you showed that it was empty, and then you showed a bag of ping pong balls and you had them pour them in and check them to make sure that all the numbers are different, and you had them do that, and then you had them put their hand in and mix it up, and then they left it on the table, and you went, and then you said thanks very much, give them a big round of applause as they make their way back to their seat. I don't think that would be a problem, that you then reach in and pick out one of the balls. Of course, they checked the balls, they poured it into the box, and they mixed them up themselves. And I think if you show your hands empty and then you reached in and you just pulled out one ball and it was the force ball, I don't think that would be a problem. Personally, because the first method I've got in my head is to have one of the ping pong balls, put a magnet in it. Or if you can't put a magnet in a ping pong ball, get a flat disc magnet, neodymium disc magnet, and put a sticker over the disc magnet and write the number on the sticker. Make sure that every ping pong ball has the same sticker on it. So get a bunch of round stickers and you put the round stickers on the ping pong balls, and that's what you write the numbers on. So every ball looks the same, but one of those stickers, you've put a flat neodymium magnet on it, and then have a silent assistant. A silent assistant, you can still get them. It was put out by Sans Mind years ago. It's basically a sonata gimmick, but with one finger. It's a one-finger sonata gimmick, and it's got a magnet there. So you could reach into the box, and with a strong enough neodymium magnet on the ball, you could literally go in, and just by rummaging around, it would stick to your silent assistant, and then you could just pull it out like this. But think about how fair that would be. You'd bring somebody up on stage, you'd show them the box, they'd examine the box. You'd show them the balls, they'd examine the balls. They'd pull the balls in, make sure they're all different. They'd mix the balls up themselves. You then show your hands empty, you reach in and you pull out a ball, and it would be the forced ball, because it's the only one that's got a magnet on. And if you're wanting to do a lottery prediction with that, you could do that with like 6 balls, because you can have 6 balls, just thinking through this, that are all magnetic. So as you go in, you're taking the balls out one at a time and you're grabbing all of the magnetic balls. So that's the first thing that I would say. That would work quite well, I think. The second thing that I would do, would this work? Yes, it would. Okay, so the second thing that I would do, this would involve having a spectator reach in and take out one ball. So it would start the same way, but the stickers that you put on the balls, they'd be dry white stickers. They'd be dry wipe stickers. So you can get dry wipe stickers. I use them for something else. Little round stickers. You can get them as big as $1. You'd put those stickers on the pool balls, and it's like literally having a little dry wipe surface area on each ball. And then what you would do is on each ball, on each sticker, with a dry wipe marker, so you can wipe it off very, very easily, I would draw the number on there. Okay, so I would put a different number on each ball, but you're using a dry wipe marker on a dry wipe sticker. But the effect would be that you'd have this box, you'd have the spectator examine the box would be empty, you put the box down in front of you, you'd then show all of the balls and you'd say, have they all got different numbers? Yes, put them in there, mix them up. And then I'd have the spectator cover their eyes up and I'd say, look, do me a favor, reach in, take out one ball, but hold it in your hand. I don't want you to be influenced, so don't look. So they would reach in and they would take out a ball like this in their hand. And you'd say, I don't want anyone to see the ball just yet, so just pass it over to me. So you would take the ball like that, and you'd say at this point, you could even have them switch. Do you want to switch? Do you want to go for a different ball? No. And then this would be a thumb tip thing. So as they're doing all of that, you'd have a thumb writer on, or a, you know, some sort of thumb writer or nail writer that writes with a Sharpie, a Sharpie. You can get like ink nail writers or thumb writers or boom writers, or the super Sharpie would work really well. So they would take out the ball. As they hand it to you, with your thumb, you would just rub the dry wipe away. So now there's no number on there. And then you would literally, while their eyes are covered, you'd say that you just draw the number that you wanted to put on there. So if it's 21, you'd put 21 on there. And you'd say, right, now, before you open your eyes, are you happy with this ball? Would you like me to throw it back in and you do it again? No. Perfect. And your hands would have been shown empty. So when you take that ball, everyone in the audience would realise there's no switch. They're next to you, but their eyes are closed while you're doing the thumb writing. And then you'd say, right, open up your eyes. This is the ball. You can see it here. Can you tell everyone the number? And they go 21. And you'd say that all the numbers were different. Everyone had a different number, but you went for 21. Is that correct? Yes. Boom. So that would be the second way of doing it. That would work really well. So that would work really well. I'm just trying to think if those are the two methods that spring instantly to mind. I'm trying to think if there's another. You could potentially have some sort of mirror box type thing where, but it wouldn't be a mirror box. It would be a box almost that would be like a mirror box, but it wouldn't open at the front. So you'd have a mirror box and it would have two sections, almost like a change box type thing. It'd have two sections that could pivot back and forth. So they could come up and show all the different balls and they could take in and take one out and take in and take the other one out. And then you just push that flap over to the other side. And then they could reach in and take out apparently the same ball, but they'll be reaching into the other side. That's something you could do, but that's a bit convoluted, to be perfectly honest. That's a bit too convoluted. They're the ones. So they're the ones that I would go for, to be perfectly honest. They're the ones. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I would do, but there's not. No, because everything else I'm thinking of involves change bags, and I know you said that you didn't want change bags. So that's what I'd do. To be honest, if I had to make the decision now and it was me that was having to do this, I'd probably go for the magnetic version. You wouldn't have to use a silent assistant. You could have a magnet on your finger underneath a plaster. You could use a magnetic PK ring, anything like that. But that is the version I'd go for. So hopefully that helps. Okay, so the next question is from Donald J. White, who says, hi, love Magic TV and all that you and Ryland do. Thank you very much. I asked you a few months ago if you were familiar with the Ronjo cups and coins and if it could be integrated with Chop or Nightshade. Have you played around with using the Chop gimmick with Rattle dice? And finally, tell Matt not to worry about doing Blockhead. I learned to do it when I was 14. I made it to 61 and managed to get through dental school. So hopefully no permanent brain damage. Well, he's scared to death. So, I will pass your message on to him. Thank you very much. So let's take those questions. Very good. So the Ronjo cups, could it be integrated with Chop or Nightshade? Yes. I've got it sitting in my review pile. I still haven't got around to doing it, and I really need to. I will get to that Ronjo cup probably in the next couple of weeks. I've just had a very busy time, and I know it's going to take me a lot of time and effort to actually put the effort in that I want to put into, because I want to learn it and I want to do it. I don't want to just pay it lip service, but it is something that I'm going to be looking at. I have got one. I think that it could integrate with Chop or Nightshade, absolutely. Have I played around with using the Chop gimmick with Rattle dice? No, I haven't, mainly because I'm an idiot and I didn't think about that. But that's actually a really smart idea. I love the idea of using chop with rattle dice. I think there's probably a lot you could do with that. And anybody who's watching this will know that I love rattle dice. So I'm going to play around with that. I'm going to Penguin again soon. Maybe I can film something else for them. Okay, so the next question is from Dodgy Wheel, who says, I saw an advert for the limited Tango card. Have you ever used this and what are your thoughts? I believe it's an older gimmick, but it was an award winner when released. I don't think I've even heard of it. Let's do a search for limited Tango card. Okay, by Tango. Never heard of it. The most incredible gimmicked card ever. Limited Tango card is really a crazy idea. You'll receive a red bicycle card, and this card will allow you to perform the best and classic card magic effects with minimal sleight of hand. Imagine being able to perform controls, forces, revelations, 4-ace routines, rising cards, and everything with minimal sleight of hand using just a special and undetectable bicycle card. Well, that sounds interesting. I've never even heard of it, he says as he clicks add to cart. Add to basket. Thank you, Alakazam. I'm going to get one. I will tell you what I think. Maybe it will kickstart the Hidden Gem series again, because this is quite old. But Invention Award at FISM 2012. That's impressive. I don't know what it is. I've never heard of it before. 2012 was right in the, I think it was around about the time I was like, leaving the Magic community and going away for a while, so I was very jaded when it came to Netrix. So that's maybe why I haven't seen it, but leave it with me. I will investigate. Okay, so the next question is the Magic of Seth, who says, the question about performing at a business fair and selling merch, it sounds like they're describing a vendor fair. We don't have those in the UK. A bunch of local vendors set up for the day and patrons come through and shop at vendor stands. I've done a couple but never thought about selling something. You definitely could. In terms of a trick to get their attention, I set up a giant spinning wheel and have a different trick in each section. That's a great way to engage an audience coming over to a booth. A giant spinning wheel. That's a really good idea. I could see that working at a wedding fair as well. Hey, you want to see a magic trick? Spin the wheel. You know, I think that'd be really cool. There's those new wheels that are out now for $10,000 that I'll never buy because it's a ridiculous amount, where it forces a particular choice on a wheel. That'd be an interesting thing to do as well. But yeah, I've never seen a vendor fair. It's not something that we really do in the UK. I think the closest we get is market stalls. But I don't know if that's the same sort of thing. So thanks for clarifying. Really appreciate it. Okay, so the next question is Magic Trades 159, who says, okay, that Triad coin Final Vanish combined with the card trick is a great suggestion. I'll give that a go. The way I was thinking of doing it was to use a heel clip, stealing it out and dropping it into my top pocket, given that I'll be wearing a blazer. I had the same problem you said with Gadabout in the middle of my sequence, so I'll likely reposition that somewhere else. Looking forward to the 5x5 copper silver video. Glad you like the suggestion. Yeah, I'm working on that 5x5 right now in terms of the heel clip. I mean, that's amazing. I love the top pocket ditch. I really don't see why more people don't do it. If you guys don't know what that is, let me just get a coin here for a minute. The top pocket, I haven't got a top pocket in this shirt, but it's that you put a coin here, you position it into heel clip, and you do a Vernon steal as you ask them to wave their hand over, so you've stolen it into thumb palm, and as you say, wave your hand over, you come up like this, and you drop it in your top pocket. And because it's in thumb palm, it drops in really, really easily. So it looks so fair. It's a Vanish I do all the time. I just have it in the hand, and I say, do me a favour, wave your hand over it, and it's dropped into the top pocket now. In fact, I remember reading in Bobos years ago. I don't think that I never made this up, and I always wanted to. I always wanted to go to a seamstress, but I never made it up. There was a trick in Bobos where there was a chute that got built into a jacket that went from the top pocket through the lining, and the end of the chute was in the outside left jacket pocket. And it was just sticking down into the outside left jacket pocket. And it was a silk chute, so anything that you dropped in there would go, a coin would go, and the whole idea was that you had a glass, you showed a glass, and you had them put their hand in to make sure the pocket was empty, because they're not going to feel the bottom of the chute. And then you put the glass into your pocket and you drop the end of the chute into the glass. Now you take 3 coins, and one at a time, you do the top pocket thing, and they hear clink. And when they hear the clink, you show that there's 2 coins. You show your hand empty and you reach in, or you can get them to reach into your pocket and pull out the glass and show the first coin's gone into the glass in your pocket. You then put it back, you get the second coin. And it was an amazing, I remember reading it and going, why has nobody, that is a brilliant idea. I think if somebody actually went to the trouble of making that, that would be like a competition winning piece right there. I think it's a really good idea. But yeah, I never got around to making it. Okay, so the next question is from Jay Faulkner, who says, hey Craig, thanks for all that you do. Hope you and the family are good. I might have missed it, but who won the Murphy's mystery box, hoping to win it? Well, by the time you watch this, you will have seen who's won it, because I drew it on Saturday. So on Saturday, I drew it. Well, I actually drew it before Saturday. I haven't drawn it yet. We're filming it after this video, and we're putting the video up on Saturday afternoon. So Saturday afternoon, I'm putting the video up of us drawing it live and announcing the winner. So thank you to everybody that commented on that video. The winner will be announced on Saturday now, which is yesterday. So if you haven't seen that, go into the channel, look at the video that went up yesterday, and you're going to see who the winner is. Okay, so the next question is somebody who has literally no name. Oh, Illusionist Edzus. How are you, my friend? Hope you are well. And his question is, why have you accidentally moved the Q&A? You are an idiot. Well, that is not the question, but that's what I'm asking myself. Right, there we go. Have you heard about the new flying system? What do you think about it? That'd be great for Ryland's Harry Potter act. Yeah, I saw it. I want to do some research into it, because honestly, that would be amazing for Ryland's Harry Potter act. And also, he does a superhero act as well. He's in the middle of like putting the finishing touches to a superhero act, and that would be brilliant for the superhero act as well. So I have heard of it. I've been a bit too busy to do any real research into it, but I am going to be researching it, because I think that would be amazing. Okay, so the next question is from Elkie, who says, hi Craig, do you have any advice for convincing yourself you're in the right place when things are going well? I've had the fortune of being in circumstances recently where I'm talking to people I wasn't expecting to talk to and having chances I didn't see coming. It's been really overwhelming. I'm constantly waiting for the rug pull. I get that the question might sound pompous in a suffering from success way, but if anyone would have had motivation, it's you. Look, I understand where you're coming from. You know, a lot of people have said in my career that I'm very, very lucky. Oh, Craig's so lucky that he, he works with Murphy's Magic. Craig's lucky that he works with Penguin Magic. Craig's lucky that he works with Alakazam. Craig's lucky that he's done a masterclass. Craig's lucky that, he's got a business that's been successful the last decade. Craig's lucky that he gets a chance to perform all over the world. Lucky, lucky, lucky. And people say the same thing about Ryland. Oh, Ryland's really lucky. Craig's his dad. Oh, his dad runs an entertainment agency so he can get as many gigs as he wants to. Here's the thing. You make your own luck. Luck is based on you being in the right place at the right time. In order to be in the right place at the right time, you have to work hard to get there. You have to hustle. If I just sat on my ass and did nothing, none of this stuff that's lucky would have happened to me. It's happened to me because I worked really hard. I put myself into a position where I was visible. Everybody knew who I was, and I just capitalized on that. You make your own luck. And here's the thing. You never want to take good fortune for granted. You never just want to go, well, this stuff just happens to me. But likewise, you don't want to just dismiss it either. You don't want to go, well, you know what, I didn't see it coming, I don't deserve it, or whatever the case may be. You don't want to say that. You want to go, well, you know what, I've worked hard for this. Yes, this is an opportunity that's fallen in my lap. It might not have fallen in the lap of other people, and those people might deserve it as well as me. But the thing is, I've put myself into a position where this opportunity has happened to me. And then just remind yourself that you deserve it. Sometimes we beat ourselves up. It's human nature that we spend most of our time thinking about what went wrong. Every single time I do a show, I don't think about the things that went well. I think about the one thing that went wrong. And one thing that we sometimes need to remind ourselves to do is celebrate our successes. And that's really important. And it's something that a lot of business owners and performers fail to do. Celebrate your successes, I think, is very, very important. So, yeah, just enjoy it. I don't know what the situation is. I don't know what the fortune is that's fallen into your lap. But just remind yourself every single day that you deserve it. You're the right person for the job. and never tell yourself otherwise. Okay, so the next question is from Nathaniel Bagshot, who says, I listened with interest to the section about performing table magic at weddings. For the last 30 years, I've been the resident magician at a major tourist attraction in the West Midlands, where I've performed close-up and stage magic at what must be thousands of corporate events, including weddings. An important point which you failed to mention was, if you can, do something special for the bride and groom. I do a simplified version of Anniversary Waltz, which I learned from Doc Eason's video years ago. Another thing which struck me was how you gave the impression that each table was almost awaiting your arrival. The biggest challenge I always find is fitting in around the food. It's either being served, it's being cleared away, or they're eating it. Only when none of these things are happening are people genuinely susceptible to your craft. In my experience, another obstacle I often encounter regarding working to the entire table rather than just 2 or 3 people is the placement of an enormous flower arrangement plonked in the middle of the table. This is a problem which I've never really resolved. I just manage as best as I can. I'd be interested in your thoughts. I enjoy your videos, Craig, and I feel humbled by your skill and enthusiasm. Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Very, very much so. Okay, so, yes. Okay. Let's take these one at a time. Yes, I totally agree with you. Performing something special for the bride and groom is very important. Typically, I do cube and bottle, and I give them a cube and bottle as a gift. And I say the only time you can get one of these is if you book me or my son Ryland to perform at your event, and we will give you one of these, which is true. We get through a lot of cube and bottles. But I completely agree with you that it's very important to perform something special for the bride and groom. Okay, you talk about your biggest challenge being fitting around the food. I don't really have too much of an issue with that. And the reason I don't have too much of an issue with that is when I get to the venue, I speak to the wait staff and I say to them, right, okay, let's say there's 10 tables here. I say, right, can you tell me which side is service happening from? Is it happening from there or is it happening from here? And roughly how long is it going to take to serve going from the one side of the room to the other? And let's say that they say that service is going from there over to there and it's going to take about 15 minutes. I'm going to start at the end of the room where service is going to be last at. Because then, as long as I position myself so I can see the rest of the room, I'm going to have a rough idea. When I see the starters going down, for example, I'm going to have a rough idea of how long I'm going to have before the starters hit me. So, let's say I've done one table, and let's say I'm just starting the second table, and I can see the starters coming out. Well, that means that I've probably got about 10 minutes until the starters hit the table I'm at. So what I'm going to do at that point is I'm going to make sure that I finish this and bring it home before the starters get there. And I can see the food getting closer and closer and closer, so I know how long I've got. The second I've finished that table, I'm going to go to the other end of the room. And I'm going to perform at the other end of the room. Because the first table that will have been served, they've probably eaten their starters now. So I can go over and I can perform to that table. My goal will be that by the time the starters have been put down and the mains come out, I've got about 4 tables that I've done down that end of the room. The reason for that is because if I'm on table number 4, I'm going to see the mains coming out and I'll know that I'm going to have about 5 minutes to wrap it up. And I just keep going like that. So I don't find that a problem, to be perfectly honest. I just work around it, but I totally agree. In many ways it is an issue for a lot of people. I've just never found that a problem. As for the flower arrangement plonked in the middle of the table, well, that's the close-up worker's nightmare, isn't it? Wherever possible, I'll move the bloody thing. So I'll actually walk over to the table, and once I've got them to say, yeah, I want to see some magic, I'll go, let's just move this thing in the middle for a minute, just so you can see me properly. And I'll take it and I'll move it onto the floor by the side of me or somewhere, and then I'll put it back when I've finished performing. Now, that's not always possible. Sometimes they're fixed in the middle of the table and it's impossible to move them, in which case I'll be walking around the table. I won't be on one fixed point. Although I'm doing routines which is going to work the whole table, I kind of think of it as a mini cabaret show, I'm not going to be at one fixed point. I'm going to be going all the way around the table, so at some point everybody can see me. And even when people can't see me, I'm engaging them, I'm moving this way and this way so they can see what's going on. But I really appreciate your input, and I really appreciate your statements and your question. Thank you very much, and hopefully that helps. Okay, so the next question is from RTG Tex. How you doing? Hope you're well. who says, "Hi Craig, I recently added the Venom Cube Compact Edition to my collection, and I'm excited to combine it with Cube 52. However, after experiencing disappointment with several magical purchases over $100, I wasn't comfortable buying it sight unseen. Fortunately, I was able to learn the secret beforehand, and once I saw the quality of the effect, I decided to make the purchase. I feel there's a fine line between exposure and making informed buying decisions. As a long-time subscriber to Magic TV, I really appreciate how you share insights into different effects. Although I don't always agree with every effect needs to be explained in such depth free of charge. Some effects like a Fioke, Cube 52, the Infinity Deck and Mind Blocks fit well within the level of detail you provide. On the other hand, tricks like Magic Button, Destiny Deal and Superimpose might benefit from a slightly different approach. I've got thoughts of that in a second. For those type of effects, it could be helpful if the secret were available to purchase as a downloadable preview. This way, magicians could choose to pay a modest fee to understand the mechanics before committing to the full product. If they decide to go ahead with the retail purchase afterwards, they could use a one-time discount code issued when the secret was disclosed. There are lots of releases nowadays where this approach would be valuable. Venom Cube is a great example, and another that comes to mind is On Edge. Having an informed pre-purchase download option could help magicians know exactly what to expect from props and avoid surprises. Times are changing, and since many magicians don't have access to brick-and-mortar shops that allow for in-person demos, providing a way for magicians to make informed decisions on high-cost items and specialist props feels like a natural evolution. It's similar to the progression from typewriters to word processors and now to AI. I think it would be worthwhile for creators, producers, distributors and retailers in the Magic community to come together and discuss how to evolve with the times and add greater value to the products we buy. The example you've set on Magic TV could be a solid foundation for moving forward in this direction. Thanks for all you do for the Magic community." Wow, that's a lot. And thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I can see that took a long time to type out. Thank you. I don't know if I could ever type anything that long. I agree that, like, I've had people really pissed off with me that I do these exposure videos on all of my products, like really annoyed. I've had producers annoyed. I've had people in the Magic community annoyed. I've discussed that there's been people that have been going online saying, "Oh, why does Craig do this?" I do it for the reasons that you said there. I want people to understand. First of all, I believe in my product. The reason that we don't do this, the reason that we don't expose the trick before it comes out is because a lot of people collect secrets, and if the secret is given freely, then they're not going to buy the trick, right? But I believe that anything that I bring out is really commercial and really fun and adds value. Now, that doesn't mean everybody's going to love everything I bring out. That's impossible. But I believe in everything. I believe that everything I bring out is a quality product, to the point that I know if I bring it out, it's gonna, it's going to appeal to anyone that buys it. So I feel comfortable exposing the trick and explaining to people how it works, because I like to believe that when people see how it works and they see how clever it is, they're going to immediately go, "Well, actually, this is for me." And you say that, things like Magic Button, Destiny Deal and Superimpose might benefit from a slightly different approach. Well, let's look at Destiny Deal as an example. Ever since I released that, it's been in the top 10 bestsellers site-wide on Penguin Magic for about a month now. For about a month, it's been in the top 10. I know from seeing the sales figures, it's one of my best-selling Penguin tricks ever. Like, a lot of people have bought Destiny Deal. It's been very, 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 very well received, which I'm really glad at, because I love that trick. But one of the reasons is the amount of people that have said to me, "I wasn't going to pick it up, and I picked it up after seeing your exposure video because I realized how beneficial it was to be able to do that sort of routine." Because when I first brought it out, the cafe were coming down on me like a ton of bricks. They were talking about how it was just a double lift and how there's nothing new here and it's ridiculous and blah, 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 blah. And Destiny Deal, if you've seen it, is a lot cleverer than people anticipated. And it took that exposure video for people to understand that the gimmicked card does all the work for them. They just thought they were getting a printed card. They didn't realize it was a gimmick. And, that it took a while for people to realize that printed card is so clever. And actually this morning, I mean, it's had 18 5-star reviews so far, which is great. And this morning I saw a fantastic review that went up a couple of days ago. It's the latest review if you want to go on Penguin. And this review kind of sums this up. I'm so happy with this trick. The effect of the trick is a classic I've always wanted to perfect, with a last-minute substitution of the card, and never settled on the exact switch or sleight to use, and everything I tried looked a little clumsy at some point. This is the kick-ass solution I would never have thought of. It's so clean, so invisible. I usually try things on my family and friends before trying it out on strangers, because I screw things up at first. I was able to perform this correctly the very first try. My family flipped out. I was able to do it correctly every time since watching the video. There's nothing to see, no moves. It's beautiful. I highly recommend this for anybody who wants to perform a totally clean version of ACAN. This is the best version ever because it looks like the spectators do everything. It's brilliant. The power is beyond the reaction of the crowd. In my experience, many people are so stunned that they literally just blink in silence until the laughter hits. It's not a runaway effect. They think they did it themselves. Finding the right presentation for this will be fun. I'm never leaving the house again without my instruction card. This trick is worth over $100 in my opinion, but I would have been too nervous to purchase it for that much. Trust me, this trick is worth it. This is what real magic looks like. And it's an amazing review that I'm very, very happy with. But the point I'm trying to make there is maybe that guy wouldn't have bought that trick if it wasn't for the exposure video. And that's the thing. The community at large, they are nervous about exposing tricks. And I understand why. Your typical creator, production company, has put so much time and effort and money into developing a trick. If they expose the trick, they're thinking, oh my God, I've exposed the trick to everybody in the community. They know how it works. It's now going to be a commercial failure. My attitude is, if the trick's good enough and you believe in it, then expose it. Because if people, see it and they like it, they're going to want to buy it. Even more so than if they didn't know the secret in the first place. And I think the magic community needs to evolve, and I think it needs to change. And I'm hoping that more creators will be doing this in the future. I've seen a couple of other creators do something similar to this, and I'd like to see others do it as well. Stand by your products. And if you're there thinking, well, if people realize how this trick works, then no one's going to buy it, then maybe it wasn't a trick that you wanted to release in the first place. Maybe it wasn't right. If there's lots of tricks that I've seen the method for, and I've bought it, I've watched the tutorial, I've seen the method, and I'm like, if I'd have seen this, if I knew this method beforehand, I never would have bought this in a million years. Those are the tricks that are never going to be exposed because, they're not very good. I stand by everything I put out, and that's why I'm comfortable doing this. And the next trick that comes out, and the next, I'll do it with the atomic deck. Like, that's creating waves at the moment. The quantum deck too. Everybody is raving about it. Like, I've been showing it around to a lot of people. I'm getting, look at the Alakazam live on Tuesday. Peter Nardi saying it's the best version of this trick he's ever seen. Wayne Goodman saying it's the best version of the trick I've ever seen. Every big name mentalist in the world has said that trick is the best version of that trick that they've ever seen. And it is. I'm really, really happy with that. I think it's the best thing I've ever done. You know what? When it comes out, it's going to have an exposure video. And if Murphys don't like that, frankly, they can do one. Because that's what I'm doing. And I don't care. Because I believe in everything I bring out. And that's why I do it. But thanks very much for commenting and allowing me to go on my soapbox for 5 minutes on that subject. I really appreciate it. Okay, so the next question is from Mystic Tom, who says, hi, Craig, hope you're well. Yes, Mystic Tom, thank you. I'm sad to see Copeland Coins closing its doors and other quality plays going away. My question for you is, I think you mentioned that you may be working with TCC at some point. I know you can't say much. However, does it have anything to do with a wood product? Also, I want to let you know how much your channel has meant to me. It's very informative, entertaining, and I love your content. First of all, thank you very much. I really appreciate the kind words. Second of all, it's very sad about Copeland Coins. I have a video going up. It was meant to go up on Friday just gone. I'm filming this on the Wednesday, so it's on the Friday coming for me, but you're watching this on the Sunday, so it's a Friday just gone. But I know that everyone's going to want to see a review of Repo. So I put the Repo review up on Friday. This will be going up next Friday, and it's my... there's a lot of production companies that have gone belly up recently, and it's my kind of analysis of why this is happening. So I think I understand why it's happening, and I'm going to go through that. In terms of TCC, I'm hoping to do numerous projects with them. I'm doing the first project right now, and we're trying them. I'm trying them. They're trying us. We're trying to feel each other out, make sure we're happy with each other. We're trying one product, and if it works, I've got a few other things that I want to speak to them about. Certain things that they want to speak to me about as well. But this first product, nothing to do with wood. Nothing to do with wood. However, I do think it's one of the most commercial things that I've ever done. It's something that every magician carries around with them. And it's gimmicked in a way that you've never seen before. I'll give you a clue. It's a Sharpie. I won't say any more. But everybody knows what I did with Chop when I took a Sharpie and created the Chop gimmick. And I think that's the best way to do a Chop cup. What I've done with a Sharpie with this TCC product is I've taken a classic, and I think it's going to be the new way that everybody does this classic from now on. And it uses a Sharpie. I'm not going to say any more. Hopefully it'll be out very soon. Okay, so the next question is by GRGRYL, Girl, who says, "Hi Craig, I have a Hopping Half set, and I was wondering if you could use these gaffs to perform different coin routines apart from the traditional presentation. For example, could I use the Hopping Half set to do coins across 3-fly or triple threat?" Yes, the Hopping Half set is basically a Sun and Moon coin with an expanded shell on top and another silver coin with a shell on top. Using those gimmicks, you can do so much. The Sun and Moon coin alone is one of the most underrated gimmicks of all time. I'm not going to tell you what you can do with it now because I'm doing a hows and whys of Hopping Halves at some point soon. And I'm going to break down the Hopping Halves gimmick and talk about what you can do with the Hopping Halves set if you don't want to do Hopping Halves. So that's a video that I'm currently planning out and that's coming soon. But yeah, and to answer your question, 100% you can use a Hopping Half set to do so much more than just the Hopping Half shooting. Okay, so the next question is from David Blaine, who says, "Was wondering if you reviewed or if you can do a video on the double blank Svengali deck by Kmar Magic and Liam. Yes, I'm actually doing a Kmar Magic review show special soon. I've got a bunch of Kmar Magic stuff and I'm doing a review show special on it, and I believe the double blank Svengali deck is part of that. So yes, I will be doing that. That is coming. Look out for it. I am doing a review show special on that. So yes, look out for it. It's coming soon. Okay, so Jim says, for the Ambitious Card Move, it's on the Illusionist Crash Course 2 Ambitious Card download. I used that a long time ago, and I know for a fact it's on that video. He pretty much teaches all of the Ambitious Card routine that David Blaine does. Thank you for that. I'd forgotten about Illusionist. You know, going back in the day with Brad Christian and the eyeliner, Illusionist were the people that made Close-Up Magic cool. Them and David Blaine really led from the front. Yeah, if you can pick up that download, check it out on there. As I said, it's also on the Michael Amar Easy to Master Card Magic series, Volume 2. But Illusionists are awesome as well. Okay, so the next question is from Archie Cox Magic, who says, "Hi Craig, hope you're well." Very well, thank you, Archie. "When you've done mat tests on things like Monsters Evoke and Mind Blocks, you've created longer routines with them. Do you perform longer routines with them at gigs, or do you just do one routine, or does it depend on the gig?" It depends on the gig, Archie. So last week I was at a private party. I was at 2 hours. It was a house party, mingling around at a house party. There were 25 people and I was there for 2 hours. I was sitting down. I was doing longer routines. For one group of 3 people, I'd done an 18-minute routine just with Evoke. But if I'm at a gig where I've got, you know, I describe it as like doing a fart in a wind tunnel. You know, you've got like 100 people and you've got an hour to get around 100 people. From my point of view, at that point, it's hit and run magic. I'm going to be going around to everybody as quickly as I can. That is not the place for long routines with Evoke. That's not the place for stuff like that. That has a place, but it's not there. And a lot of the time, being a close-up magician is understanding material choices. I know a lot of magicians say, I do the same 5 tricks at every gig. Doesn't matter what the gig is. Well, that's stupid as far as I'm concerned, because frankly, every gig is different. You know, is it going to be banquet? Are there going to be tables of 10? How many tables are there? How many people are there at the gig? Are you in a hall? Are you in a house? Are you outside? Are you inside? What's the age of the people? Are there kids there? Are there adults there? Do people speak English? Is it a corporate event? Is it a wedding? Do they know you're going to be there? Are you a complete surprise? What else is going on at the venue? All of this stuff is things that you need to take into consideration when you're doing close-up magic. And it's a lot of the time, unfortunately, people don't take that into consideration. I have a big repertoire and I do a lot of tricks, but some of the tricks will only work in certain environments. But I know when I get to that environment, that trick is going to be perfect for it. Okay, so the next question is from Judah Mantell, who says, hi, Judah Gabriel here. Thank you so much for the shout out. It means a lot as it's my first release to the magic community. I'm so glad you liked it. Judah, here's the thing. I am very good friends with Sean Dunn, and I've known Sean for probably 4 or 5 years now. We get on the phone an awful lot and we talk about various different things. Rarely does he call me, and say to me, I want to show you a trick. You need to check this out. This is incredible. But that's what happened. He called me while I was in the middle of a gig and he said, look, you've got to call me back. So I called him back and he performed your trick on me and blew me away. He did it over the phone. And he was so excited about performing it for me. Then, 3 days later, he'd forgot he performed it to me. And he called me up and he said, I've got to show you this amazing trick. And he showed me the same trick again. Then he said, you've got to learn this trick. It's not out yet, but I'm going to put it in your account. So he put it in my Penguin account and I learned it. This trick is genius, man. This is probably one of the best tricks I've seen come out this year. You are a genius, sir. You are a genius. This trick is amazing, man. So many people are going to be doing this. This is so clever. And I've done this myself. I've started performing this now and it kills. B, I want to thank you because I was on the phone to a corporate client and they said, hey, can you jump on Zoom with some people? And they'd already seen me before and all of the stuff that I normally do on Zoom, I've done for them. And they were like, can you show a trick to these people? And I did your thing to the booker and they were blown away. And it was because of what you did. So it's amazing. I can't wait to do a review show special. Sean hasn't released it yet. He won't tell me when it's coming out. So I hope it's any day now. I want to do a review show special on this. I want to interview you for Magic TV. You, dude, you are a genius. Like, seriously, this is Trick of the Year contender. I know I talked about it before and said it was good. It's even better than that. When people see this, they're gonna lose it over this. This is amazing. Yeah, you've really hit it home with this one. Well done. Okay, so the next question is from PS4 Online Gamers 674, who says, hi, Craig, can you do some card and coin tutorials? I have. There's a ton of them on the channel. Just search for tutorial Magic TV. There's a bunch of them. I've done loads of coin tutorials, loads of card tutorials. I don't do them very often. I'm not a tutorial channel, but I do them when I kind of feel like it. But if you want more, I got about 700 tutorials on the Netrix, and we add 5 more every 2 weeks. So if you want a really kick-ass tutorial, go onto the Netrix. You're going to see some really good ones there. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Yeah, go onto the Netrix. No, you can't say www. Stupid Craig. Go to the netrix.com. It's my online streaming platform for magicians. There's hundreds of tricks. I just added the best version of Angelo Carbone's Cue the Magic, but close up that you'll ever see. I'm putting stuff on there all of the time. So you can go on the Netrix. You can see stuff there. I do put tutorials on YouTube, but not as often. So hopefully that helps. Okay, so Ray Eden World of Magic says, regarding lecturing in the States, contact Scott Wells. I didn't know that. Guessing you already knew this, but I thought I'd mention it. No, I didn't. Thanks for that. I know nothing. I'll contact him today. When I say I need help with this, I do. I'm not connected in America at all. I am, but not with people that organise lectures. I don't know what I'm doing, but I want to go over there and I want to lecture. Our clubs in Florida have floated your name as someone we'd like to have lecture. I would love to lecture in Florida. I'd love to lecture everywhere. So I'm going to reach out to Scott Wells. Thank you so much. Okay, so the next question is from Yuri, who says, hi, Craig. Hope you're doing well. I was wondering if you're planning to add more content to the Extreme Hard Card Magic Academy on Netrix. Extreme Hard category on Netrix. Thanks always for your time and effort into all you do. Yes, the jumbo coin routine that I do has just gone up there, and I'm putting some real hardcore coin magic up in the next couple of uploads as well. So yes, 100%. There is more stuff going up very, very soon. Okay, so stand art is the final question today. Andreas, my friend Andreas, who says, hi, Craig, thanks for your offer. Sure, we can get it here. So Andreas has a set list and he wanted me to go through it, and I asked him to post it up here. So as a prerequisite, my style will be that I'm going to show the audience things which are unexpected, taking into account common sense and expectations due to experience and past observations. An excerpt from my full program deviation. Warm-up routine, then destiny mistake, warm-up 5 minutes, plus finale for 8 minutes, that's 13 minutes. Copper silver coin routine, nightshade set, 2 minutes, that's 15 minutes. Business card transposition from distorted visions, 2 minutes, that's 17 minutes. Memory arrays using out to lunch, 2 minutes, that's 19 minutes. Hook, 5 minutes, that's 24 minutes. Angel number tossed out version, 4 minutes, 28 minutes. Sheer luck, 5 minutes, 33 minutes. Backup drawing duplication with impression board, followed by a color match routine, and Verdi. Instead of the copper silver, I could use the coins across or the turtle or the dolphin gaff. However, seeing the premise of how the mind gets tricked, the copper silver is stronger. Comments welcome. Well, it's a great set. I mean, obviously, destination mistake is how I do the start and the finale of my act. So right there, you're onto a winner. You're closing your act and opening your act with the exact same opening set and closing set that I use. So I'm not going to criticize that in any way at all. So you're going to come out, you're going to give the box out, you're going to do all the gags, and then you're going to go into a copper silver routine. After the copper silver routine, it's all very cerebral. It's all very mind reading. So I would maybe do the copper silver stuff first of all, and talk about how a lot of people think that that's sleight of hand. And it's a lot of people think it's the hand is quicker than the eye, but that's not the case. What you actually just saw, your mind thought you saw these coins changing places, but really, it didn't. It didn't say, oh, you've got the business card transposition as well. So maybe you get the sleight of hand of stuff out the way, and you talk about how, now let me give you an example of how that works. A lot of people think that the coins are changing places. Maybe they think it's sleight of hand. Maybe they think it's special coins. Maybe they think it's special business cards. It's nothing to do with that. I just have the ability to play with your head. I have the ability to make you see things that you think are there when in reality they're not. I also have the ability to take that away from you as well. Let me give you an example, which is where you then go into the memory arrays using out to lunch. Now you've put that in that sequence. So you've done copper silver, followed by the business card transposition, then memory arrays. So it's very possible, Andreas, because you're a clever guy, that you've thought about that. But that's how I would transition from the sleight of hand stuff to the mentalism. I would say, hey, let me explain how this stuff works. It's not to do with sleight of hand. I can just mess with your head. And that's the perfect lead-in to the out to lunch, to the memory arrays routine. After the memory arrays routine, you can say, well, I've just proven to you that you can, that I can mess with your head. So let's see if I can actually do this, but actually have some real stakes to this. Am I able to do this when there's something on the line? I'm not talking about money. I'm not talking about losing something physically. I'm talking about having something serious on the line, which then allows you to go into hook. I would bring out the hook and I'd say, do you know what this is? This is a fisherman's hook. I'm going to use this and I'm going to see if I can use my powers of influence and my powers of ability to mess with your head to see if I can get you to make the exact decisions that I think that you're going to make. In fact, there's an argument to say hook should be ending the thing, because everything leads up to hook. Because after the memory arrays, the best routine, in my opinion, to go into after that is sheer luck. Because you could say now, I'm going to show you something. I've just shown you how I can take your memory away. Let me show you. I've got one of the best memories in the world. I'm going to prove to you my memory is so good. And then you bring out the book and you say, this is Sherlock Holmes. You've probably read it. You've probably heard of it. If I told you I'd memorized every single word, every single sentence, every single paragraph, every single word in this book, and I only got it a week ago, you probably wouldn't believe me. I'm going to prove that to you. I'm going to show you how strong my memory is. I think that the sheer luck is a better routine to go into after the memory arrays because of that. And then I think that leads very, very nicely into the angel number. I think that that's a great want to follow sheer luck with, because at the end of sheer luck, you've got the gag and you've got the joke, and then you've shown that they're all blank, which means that you can then lead into angel number quite well. And I think hook, because of everything building up to that, and you say, well, I've shown you how I can mess with your head. I've shown you how I can take your memories away. I've told you and shown you how I can influence your decisions. I've told you how I can make you believe that I can memorize something. So let's see if we can finish off with something that's got some real stakes. Because up until now, there's not been stakes, has there? If I made a mistake, it's totally not a problem. But let's see if we can take this one step further. And then you go into hook. I think hook is a great finale routine to go into after you've done all of that. And then after after hook, you then finish off the destination mistake, and you go, hey guys, almost like an encore. So hook is the end of the act, and you go, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Before I go, would you like to see one more thing? Would you guys like to see one more thing? Let's do one final thing. I want to get somebody to come up and help me. And we're going to do a card trick, but this is the weirdest card trick you've ever seen. Then you go into destination mistake, and you go into the finale. And by that time, especially with treating that as kind of like an encore piece, they probably will have forgotten that you've given the box out at the beginning. So that's what I would do, but I think it's a very strong set, mate. I really do. I think it's a very strong set, and I think it would work very well. And if you do add the colour match and the drawing dupe, put it into the cerebral mentalism section. Don't put it into the sleight of hand section at the beginning, because I love the fact that you've got all of that sleight of hand stuff at the beginning, and I know you're a great coin worker. Then you've got all of the cerebral stuff, and then you're coming back at the end with a destination mistake, which is very different to everything. Perfect. Well done. So there you go, guys. That is another Q&A in the bag. Thank you once again for joining me right here on Magic TV. And now don't forget, you want to see more videos like this, like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. Don't forget, if you want to ask a question, you got to make sure this question's in by sort of Monday or Tuesday at the latest. If you haven't already joined the Netrix, go to thenetrix.com. No need for a www. Go to thenetrix.com. It's my online streaming platform for magicians. I'm so proud of it. It's my magnus opus to the magic community. And honestly, if you're not a member, please try it out. For everybody that says, I want to support you, Craig, how do I do that? Just go check out the Netrix. That's how you do it. I'll be back again very, very soon with another video. I'm going to be here with a review show special. Tonight, I'm looking at Bricked by Drew Perry. So make sure you check out that. I've also got the Talk Magic that went up yesterday. Make sure you check that up. And if you haven't seen my review for Repo, that went up on Friday. A lot to check out here on Magic TV, but thank you again from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this channel. I will see you again soon. My name's Craig from Magic TV.